The board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Alderman Narayan. Alderman Valmer. Alderwoman Velasquez. Alderwoman Sanye. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Browning. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Keys. Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Aldridge. President Green.
Present.
Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Alderwoman Velasquez. Alderwoman Sanye. Alderwoman Tyus. 10 present. You have quorum.
A quorum being present will dispense with line item 3. Instead, we will also dispense with the regular order of business to take up the courtesy resolution calendar. If Alderwoman from the 11th would like to approach the dais with her special guest from Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, the Kappa Sigma chapter.
Here we come.
Which one?
Keep it going. Come on, get on up. No, come on. Bring it right on across. Yeah, come on. Yeah. It'll be a little tight. It's all right. Gerald, come on up this way. All righty, here we go. So you will be speaking for the group? No. Oh. How you doing? I'm Alderwoman Keys. All right. Good to meet you, Terrence. Will anyone else? I always say something. You say a little something? All righty. Thank you, Madam President and members of the board. I'm so happy this morning to have the men of Phi Beta Sigma here with us in chamber today. I present to you the president of the organization. There you go. Tell them who you are.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Terrence McCoy. I'm the president of the Kappa Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated here in St. Louis. This is an honor. We have been serving the St. Louis metropolitan area for 100 years. 2024 was our 100th year in the St. Louis area. We look forward to continuing to serve the community. We are about brotherhood, scholarship, and service, culture for service, and service for humanity. What we do is not about one individual brother. This is a collective thing that we do for the community and not for ourselves.
Thank you.
Good morning to the members of the board. On behalf of the fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, our chapter, Kappa Sigma chapter, our foundation, the Sigma Legacy Foundation, we are proud to be here today as we celebrate 100 years of community service in the city of St. Louis. You know, 100 years is not something you just shake your head at. And we have dedicated men here who have been working in this community for 100 years, and that deserves the recognition that we receive today. We also are working throughout the city of St. Louis to make this a better place for our citizens to live. Our foundation is heavily involved in redeveloping the George Washington Carver House at 3035 Bell, and the leadership of Alderwoman Keys has been essential in helping us move forward with that project that we have, and we want to give her a big round of applause. Former Alderwoman Marlene Davis has been a godsend and essential to the progress that we have made in order to be in the Carver House. We have a commitment to the JVL neighborhood. We have a commitment to make our communities safe and decent places to live. Our brotherhood is founded on the principles of brotherhood, scholarship, and service, and we mean that. We don't go out and brag about what we do. We let our work speak for itself. And so we are honored to be here today to receive this proclamation from the Board of Aldermen, also to receive greetings from the mayor's office. Whatever we can do to help you move this city forward, don't hesitate to ask us. Many of us you already know, and as you know, many of us are already engaged in politics. Farrakhan. So we all over the place. So just let us know. You see Steve Harmon sitting up here, and I don't have to tell you about the Harmon family. Robert Jordan. So, many of us and we're active in this community. So once again, I just want to let you know, thank you, and we're always available to help.
Thank you, thank you. So I don't want to cheat you out of the full effect. So if I could ask our clerk to have a sip of water and then please read the resolution.
Resolution 229, honoring Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, the Kappa Sigma chapter. Whereas Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity is an international historical African American fraternity that exemplifies the ideas of brotherhood, scholarship, and service, focused on an exclusive perspective to serve the community as opposed to having an exclusive purpose. The fraternity was founded on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. by the Honorable A. Langston Taylor, Honorable Leonard F. Morris, and Honorable Charles I. Brown on January the 9th, 1914, with 9 other Howard students as charter members. Whereas the Kappa Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Inc. established its charter in St. Louis, Missouri on January the 24th, 1925 by the Honorable Dr. J.T. Aldrich, Honorable Dr. T.D. Center, Honorable Dr. U.G. Dixon, Honorable Mr. H.B. Gaines, Honorable Dr. Willie Hill, Honorable Mr. Richard Lane, Honorable Mr. Zaid Lenore, Honorable Dr. J.W. Wilkinson, Honorable Dr. Jacob Williams, and the Honorable Dr. W.W. Yerby. And whereas the Kappa Sigma chapter is the first chapter established west of the Mississippi and the oldest alumni chapter of the southwestern region of the Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Whereas the Kappa Sigma chapter hosted the International Convention of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Inc. in St. Louis, Missouri in 1927 and 1945. Whereas the Sigma members have served as international officers of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity and have been recognized as the national and or Southwestern regional officers or distinguished service chapter, including members Dr. Earl Williams, Dr. Zay Lenore, Dr. E. Alfred Dixon, Dr. S. Edward Gilbert, Dr. Cheryl Gilbert II, Joe Maddox, Conrad Jordan, William Benford, Eugene Wallace, Charles Ellis, Jordan Morgan, Marcus Gowans, Robert Jordan, Gerald Christmas, and Terrence Smith. Whereas the Kappa Sigma chapter is under the leadership of President Terrence McCall and is celebrating 100 years of brotherhood, scholarship, and service to the St. Louis metropolitan community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Honorable Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Louis that we pause in our deliberation to honor and recognize the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Inc. and Kappa Sigma Chapter for its 100 years of brotherhood, scholarship, and service to the St. Louis metropolitan community. We further direct the Clerk of the Board of Aldermen to spread a copy of this resolution across the minutes of the proceedings and to prepare a commemorative copy to the end that it may be presented to the honoree at a time and place deemed appropriate by the sponsor. Introduced this 24th day of January, 2025 by the Honorable Laura Keys, Alderwoman of the 11th Ward.
So, gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Louis and the Mayor of the City of St. Louis, Tashara O. Jones, I present to you this morning a resolution that has just been read to you and a proclamation from the Mayor's office. Additionally, there are commemorative copies for each of you of both documents.
Any further discussion? Alderwoman from the 10th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Thank you, Alderwoman Key, for making sure that we give them this honor, this due justice for the work that they do. I stand here as a witness to the testimony and the foundation, and more importantly, the proof, right, of the work that you all, so many of you all are my brothers in service. I don't want to start naming names, so I'm claiming everybody today. And I want you all to congratulate, not only want to rather congratulate you all on a past year's service, but I want to make sure that you all know I stand here in full support of the next 100 years of service. So any way I can support you all, brothers, please never hesitate to call me. I say it all the time. Our children will be what they see. Today, you all are the example. They will be better now than what they see. Thank you all for your service.
Alderwoman, would you like to make?
Yes,
Okay.
I almost forgot. I got so excited with that. I want to make sure I shout and ask if we can now pass this resolution in bank.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 7th, that we make resolution number 229 in bank. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now that it's in bank, it means that every single member of the Board of Aldermen has signed on as a sponsor of this resolution. Is there any further discussion? Alderman from the 14th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I just want to congratulate you all. As Mr. Christmas said, 100 years is a long time. And I just want to thank you all for the great work that y'all do in the city of St. Louis. Some of you up there I know, so I know that the work is being done for Mr. Harmon, for Mr. Christmas, Mr. Benny, and Mr. Shegod, my brother that I love a lot, and I love all of you. But just want to say thank you for your tireless commitment to the city of St. Louis and really being an example as the only black man down at this board to be able to, look up at this dais. And I know the work just isn't here today. Y'all out in the community, and for other young black men to be able to see the work that y'all are doing, it means a lot. So thank you all, and congratulations on 100 years of service. Looking forward to another 100, and for all the great work that y'all do in the St. Louis region, not just in the city, but throughout the whole region as a whole. So thank you all.
Alderwoman from the 7th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I really just want to echo what the 14th said. There's so many of you all who I see up there that I know. Mr. Christmas is one of my favorite people to argue with. So just, Farrakhan, you do great work. So many of you all, I just wanted to, make sure I give my commitment. I would never see a group of black men in front of me who did it to community, to helping us to be where we want to be, and not make sure I give my kudos and flowers to you all. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Alderwoman from the 6th.
Thank you, Madam President. Not to echo, well, to echo my colleagues from the 7th and 14th, just want to say thank you for your service to our community and all that you do. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Alderwoman from the 10th.
I just wanted to make sure you all knew what we were doing. We wanted to make sure that we were in honor of all of you all, but we do have to give a little special recognition to someone of our own, Joe. If we thought you were in the back, we thought you were in the back. I said, no, he's up there representing, standing strong with his brothers. So let's give a hand to our very own Joe, TLCP. Lord knows we can't do it down here without him.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we all really want to thank you for years of service. That is quite a feat. And as the Alderwoman from the 10th said, we are looking forward to 100 years more and beyond of service. We see you in the community all the time out there doing the work, and it is appreciated. So we want to make sure that from city government, we are clear that we see you, we appreciate you, and we're here to continue to support another 100 years of service. So with that, if we want steps over here, we can all get a picture.
Okay. I'm gonna let you get back.
How we doing? Everybody have what they need? One more? Well, I'm gonna give you the extra on everything. Okay. Cool. Okay. Oh no, thank you.
Hey, Gerald.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Wendell.
I'll bring these back.
Yes, back to business. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Picture real quick so I can send it to you. You want me to get a picture of just Oh, okay. Your picture guy get. Okay, but he's sending me the pictures.
Okay.
Joe, back to work.
I'll give him a second.
No,
here.
they get ready to take some pictures. You gotta go out there and take some pictures with him. We enough, Joe.
How y'all doing?
What's wrong with you? Yes.
Right. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, I move that we adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Introduction of honored guests. Alderwoman from the 10th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Before we do our introduction to honored guests, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for a champion in our community for decades. Ms. Brenda Simpson, who we unfortunately lost on Wednesday. She served in so many different ways, not just in neighborhood and community and government, but in every space that she stepped in, she made the difference. She known. She changed trajectories, changed minds, right? And she was unapologetic and uncompromised in her service. If she was with you, she was with you to the end. And so with that, again, I know for the family, Maisha and Chris, we are praying for you, for the entire family and the community that knew and loved Ms. Simpson so much. We are standing in prayer for you. And with that, again, Madam President, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for Brenda Simpson.
If we could please bow our heads for a moment of silence for Brenda Simpson.
Thank you.
Any further introduction of honored guests? Any further introduction of honored guests? Alderman from the 4th.
Members of the board, I'd like to have as my honored guest today all the city workers who have been working out in the cold and the ice and just the miserable weather. I've seen guys from men and women from the streets department, refuse, water, the NISs, the first responders all out despite pretty adverse conditions. And I'd just like to thank them for their work.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Alderwoman from the 13th.
Thank you, Madam President and the board. I wanted to recognize Miss Anthony, a resident that was mauled by pit bulls in my neighborhood. And I want to ask for a moment of silence for her and her family.
Yes, if we could please bow our heads in silence, or bow our heads for a moment of silence.
Thank you.
Any further introduction of honored guests? Any further introduction of honored guests? Seeing none, Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the approval of the minutes from Friday, January 17, 2025.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we approve the minutes from Friday, January 17, 2025.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 7th, that we approve the minutes from Friday, January 17, 2025. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in A, B, C, and D of the agenda and has been placed in the Google Drive for your review.
Does anyone wish to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendars? Alderman.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I would like to take Resolution 188 and 190 off of the informal calendar to refer back to public safety.
It's been, Alderman, you need to put it on second reading, and then when we get to second reading, then you can make the motion back to committee.
Pardon me, Madam President. I would like to, I moved that we move Resolution 188 and 190 to second read resolution calendar.
Madam Clerk, please make note of that.
So noted.
Does anyone wish to take any further bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendars? Seeing none, first reading of board bills.
We have none.
We can dispense with line item 12, reference to committee of board bills.
We have none.
Can dispense with line item 13, second reading and report of standing committees.
The following board bills were reported out of HUD's committee with the due pass recommendation. Board Bill 152, sponsored by Alderwoman Spencer, an ordinance approving a petition to amend the petition to establish the Soulard Community Improvement District to add certain real properties to the Soulard CID adding certain real property to the Soulard CID, finding a public purpose for additional of certain real property to the Soulard Community Improvement District, authorize certain other actions, containing an emergency clause and a severability clause. Board Bill 153, Committee Sub, as amended in committee, sponsored by Alderwoman Sanye and President Green. An ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, establishing the Board Bill 131 and 153, Transform St. Louis Act, authorizing and directing an appropriation in the amount of $294 million of the RAM settlement funds for deposit into various new special funds with amounts as described herein, containing a severability clause and an emergency clause. Board Bill 161, sponsored by Alderwoman Spencer, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, authorizing the City of St. Louis, Missouri, to issue its taxable Industrial Development Revenue Bond, Series 2025, in the principal amount not to exceed $41 million. Board Bill 168, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, an ordinance repealing ordinance number 65280, ordinance number 65361, which was in part ratified in ordinance number 65423, section 501, and ordinance number 66970, respectively, dissolving the special allocations fund for the 3800 Park Avenue and Gravois Plaza, 6175 through 81 Delmar redevelopment areas, and respectively terminating the designation of certain portions of the City of St. Louis, Missouri as redevelopment areas, authorizing certain actions relating thereto, containing a severability and emergency clause. Board Bill 150, sponsored by Alderwoman Spencer, an ordinance approving the dissolution of the Cherokee Limp Special Business District by repealing ordinance number 63957. Board Bill 158, sponsored by Alderwoman Schweitzer, an ordinance approving removal of certain parcel of real property from the boundaries of the Carondelet Common Community Improvement District provided for in Section 64.1441.1 of the Revised Statutes of Missouri. Board Bill 159, sponsored by Alderwoman Schweitzer, an ordinance authorizing the execution of amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the City of St. Louis, Missouri, and Carondelet Broadway TIF, Inc. The following board bills were reported out of Public Infrastructure with the due pass recommendation. Board Bill 112, sponsored by Alderwoman Spencer, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to conditionally vacate above surface, surface, and subsurface rights for vehicle, equestrian, and pedestrian travel in the 8th Street, 60 feet wide from Marion Street northwardly in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, as hereinafter described, in accordance with the Charter Authority and in conformity with Section 1.4 of Article 21 of the Charter, imposing certain conditions on such vacation. Board Bill 154, sponsored by Alderwoman Spencer, an ordinance pertaining to the commercial semi-trailer trucks, also known as semis or tractor trailers, prohibiting such traffic along certain portions of the Cleves Landing neighborhood, exempting from said prohibition emergency vehicles, including privately owned tow trucks, when providing emergency service to non-commercial vehicles, vehicles making deliveries to nearby addresses, and vehicles with a gross vehicle weight of less than 26,000 pounds, containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 156, sponsored by Alderman Aldridge and Alderwoman Velazquez, an ordinance providing for the unconditional vacation and abolish of the public right-of-way of a portion east-west alley in City Block 974 as bounded by Sheridan Street, Elliott Avenue, Thomas Street, Leffenwell Avenue, and said alley beginning 212.21 feet east of Leffenwell Avenue, continuing to a point previously vacated by Ordinance 61792 in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 164, sponsored by Alderman Browning, pursuant to Ordinance number 70333, as amended by Ordinance number 71394, and an ordinance directing the Director of Streets to install speed humps to calm the flow of traffic on various blocks in the 9th Ward. That's the extent of second reading. Report of standing committees.
Report of special committees.
We have none.
We can dispense with line item 15. Board bills for perfection consent.
Board Bill 107 as amended, sponsored by Alderwoman Velazquez, Alderman Ryan, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Keys, and Alderwoman Sanye. An ordinance amending Section 11.42.040 of Chapter 11.42 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis to allow cottage food to be sold outside of the individual's home. Board Bill 157, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, an ordinance recommended by the Planning Commission and approving of amended community unit plan for an area located in the city of St. Louis, comprising of a portion of the Washington University Danforth campus. Board Bill 166, Committee Sub, sponsored by Alderwoman Spencer, an ordinance establishing an earnings and payroll tax reimbursement account in support of the project described herein, approving a development and performance agreement related to such projects, authorizing execution thereof, and authorizing certain other actions by city officials. That's the extent of board bills for perfection consent calendar.
Madam Clerk, could you please add me as a co-sponsor to 107 as amended?
So noted.
Thank you. Alderwoman from the 10th, Alderwoman from the 1st.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I'd also like to be a co-sponsor of 107 as amended.
Madam Clerk, please make note of that. Alderman from the 14th.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I also like to be added as a co-sponsor to 107 as amended.
Madam Clerk, please make note of that.
So noted.
Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to adopt the board bills for the perfection consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the board bills for perfection consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 7th, that we adopt the board bills for perfection consent calendar. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Board bills for perfection.
We have none.
We can dispense with line item 16B, report of engrossment.
Board Bill 144, 147, 148, 149, 151, Committee Sub, and Board Bill 142.
Third reading and final passage of board bills consent.
Board Bills 144, 147, 148, 149, 151, Committee Sub, and Board Bill 142.
Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to adopt the third reading and final passage of board bills on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the third reading and final passage of board bills consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 4th, that we adopt the third reading and final passage of board bills on the consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Aye. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Alderman Narayan. Aye. Alderman Balmer. Alderwoman Velazquez. Aye. Alderwoman Sanye. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Browning. Aye. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Aye. Alderwoman Keys. Aye. Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Boyd. Alderman Aldridge. Aye. President Green.
Aye.
Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Cone. Aye. Alderman Balmer. Aye. Alderwoman Sanye. Aye. Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
12 aye votes.
By your vote, you sustain the motion from the Alderwoman from the 10th to third read and finally pass the aforementioned bills. Third reading and final passage of board bills.
We have none.
Can dispense with line item 18B, reported the finally passed and signed by the President.
Board Bill 144, 147, 148, 149, 151, Committee Sub, and Board Bill 142.
All other business being suspended, the President shall in open session affix her signature hereto, and that these may become law. First reading of resolutions in reference to committees.
We have none.
And dispense with line item 20. Second reading of resolutions, committee reports and adoption.
Report from the Health and Human Development Committee, the mayoral appointment to Mental Health Board, Julia Lopez.
Alderwoman from the 13th, you are recognized on Mayor Jones' appointments to the Mental Health Board.
Thank you, Madam President and Board. I want to recommend to support the mayor's recommendations for Julia Lopez for the Mental Health Board.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 13th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we approve Mayor's appointments to the Mental Health Board. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 188, sponsored by Alderman Narayan, Forensic Hardware and Software Use Plan Authorization.
Alderman from the 4th, you are recognized on Resolution 188.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we refer Resolution 188 back to Public Safety.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 4th, seconded by the Alderman from the 14th, that we send Resolution 188 back to committee. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 190, sponsored by Alderman Narayan, citywide camera use plan authorization.
Alderman from the 4th, you are recognized on resolution number 190.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we refer Resolution number 190 back to Public Safety.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 4th, seconded by the Alderman from the 14th, that we send Resolution 190 back to the Public Safety Committee. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
That's the extent of second reading resolutions and committee reports.
Miscellaneous and unfinished business.
We have none.
Can dispense with line item 23, announcements.
Monday, January the 27th, 2025, Special Committee on Reducing Red Tape will have a hearing in the Kennedy Room at 3 p.m. The Poet Laureate Task Force meeting will have a webinar at 4 p.m. Tuesday, January the 28th, 2025, HUDS will have a committee hearing in the Kennedy Room at 11 a.m. Legislation and Rules will have a committee hearing via webinar at 2 p.m. Wednesday, January the 29th, 2025, Public Infrastructure will have a hearing in the Kennedy Room at 3:30 p.m. Thursday, January the 30th, 2025, Health and Human Development will have a webinar at 9 a.m. Friday, January 31st, 2025. Full board meeting in the chambers at 10 a.m. That's the extent of my announcements.
Any further announcements? Alderman from the 3rd.
Oh, yeah, don't. Thank you, Alderwoman. Thank you, Madam President. I would like to announce that we have a Transportation and Commerce Committee meeting scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Any further announcements? Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I would like to announce a Public Safety Committee meeting Thursday, January 30th, 1 p.m. in the Kennedy Room. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 10th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. It's that time of month. Here, our first 101, 10th Ward 101 meeting. It's always on the last Monday of the month, and we do move them around all 8 neighborhoods in the ward to be accessible and accountable. This month, I'm excited to announce that we will be back at the 100 Black Men of Metropolitan St. Louis at 4631 Delmar. Our invited guest and speaker will be our new 5th District Captain, Captain William Brown, as well as our Neighborhood Improvement Specialist. And we will also have the Bear YMCA Mobile Y parked on the lot, so you can come out and experience that. It's got amazing activities on it. It's free and open to the public, from babies to seniors, our elders. So come out and experience that. Again, that's this Monday, January 27th, from 6:30 to 7:30 at the 100 Black Men building. And then on Saturday, in the Loop, is the Northern Lights 18th Annual Ice Carnival. There'll be ice carvings and demos, an amazing drone show. If you missed it last year, you can go online and see it and see what you have to look forward for this Saturday. Fire dancers, games, and family fun. So this is an exciting event put on by the Delmar Loop. Again, the Northern Lights Ice Carnival. Come out and have a good time. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 1st.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I would like to announce that Alderman Cohn and I are having a joint town hall tomorrow at noon at the Carondelet Library. Everyone is invited. Thanks so much.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 7th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I would like to announce the 100-year anniversary of Roosevelt High School. It will be this Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. We did do a resolution here at the board to support it, so I'll be presenting that. There's also a state representative that will presenting something to them as well. And so I really want to congratulate the school for being such a huge part. And I know there's some alumni here, so I look forward to that and want to make sure the community knows about that.
Alderwoman from the 6th.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to announce a fundraiser in the fabulous 11th Ward. I don't know the elevated 11th Ward. As many folks may have heard, there was a devastating crime in Puerto Rico, and the Puerto Rican Society of St. Louis, in conjunction with myself, are having a fundraiser at Salsa Rosada on February 2nd in the elevated 11th at noon, and we hope folks can come and support. And there's been an outpouring of love from the St. Louis region, and anybody is welcome.
Any further announcements? Any further announcements? Seeing none, Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to excuse.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we excuse the alderpersons from the 2nd and the 12th wards for necessary absence.
Second.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we excuse the aforementioned alderpersons for necessary absence. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the board, I move that we adjourn until Friday, January 31st in the Board of Aldermen chambers.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 11th, that we adjourn until Friday, January 31st, 2025 in the Board of Aldermen chambers. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.